Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So I know a lot of you guys actually really enjoy my chibi artwork, and I do apologize that this week isn't anything chibi related, but I know a lot of you guys also enjoy my watercolor work, so you get a bit of that today. So kind of playing around with the style a bit. It's usually kind of my normal sketching style that I do in my sketchbook, but kind of taking that and putting it into watercolors. It's kind of something I've been struggling with, so I actually am very glad that I got it to work out this time. So today I am drawing 17's The8. If you guys aren't familiar with 17, they are a 13-member K-pop group, and I am a Carrot, which is their fan club name. So talking about this piece a little bit, I've been having fun using this specific paper, which is the Strathmore 500 series watercolor paper, and it has the cold press texture and it's 300 GSM. And I bound this sketchbook myself. If you watched my video from I think 2 weeks ago when I did the little Wanu chibi with the clover, it's the same paper that I've been using there, but as you can see, when I was working on that chibi, I was struggling a bit. But this one, I've been having a lot of fun doing more like my anime portrait kind of stylized work on this paper, because I get the work a little bit larger, a little bit more detail, and I don't have to worry about getting those fine, small details in a chibi. So I've been doing a little bit more of like headshots, and I think I've done a full body already. I've been mostly doing headshots and kind of like waist up kind of things that I wanted to play around with. So I hope you guys don't mind that. Maybe in a few other videos I might be filming a little bit more of these kind of headshots or waist up paintings. I don't know why I'm so winded. Okay, so for this specific piece, I actually had a lot of fun doing the shadows, so adding a lot of blues and purples into the skin rather than just using your normal, like, purples that are closer to the blue side rather than the warmer side, so using like red tones or pink tones. It gives the skin a little bit more depth. And you can see I play around with the skin a little bit more after I lay in the hair, because the hair, how has it styled and the color, it makes sense to put shadows underneath after, or at least for me anyways, because once I put in the black, it kind of evens out the value in the whole piece, so it's easier for me to see how dark I can actually put the shadows, because in the beginning when I just had the skin laid down, the shadows in the skin actually look pretty dark until I put the hair down, so I do have to go back and fix that. I actually don't know what to talk about in these videos, so if you guys have any suggestions of what you want me to talk about, if you guys just want me to talk more strictly about art, or if you don't mind I go in my rambly rant-ish talking, do let me know. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna record a few more videos that are watercolor videos. I might do a few digital or sketchbook videos. I know a lot of you guys are waiting for me to do another sketchbook tour, and I promise you I'm gonna get that done this month, and hopefully before I leave to go to Japan, which is in about 2 weeks. But yeah, hopefully I'll get that filmed and uploaded sometime before like June 14th or whatever. June 12th I think is when I'm leaving to Japan. I'm actually not really too sure why you guys enjoy my sketchbook tours. A lot of it's just similar stuff, so it's not really that interesting. But nonetheless, I'll try to get that finished. I have like 6 pages left, so it's not too much to just randomly sketch every other night or so. Another thing I like to do with like specifically kind of like headshots and this kind of style is doing the line work, and I think it's because it's like a larger piece rather than my chibi work. I think I've talked about it in my other video where the chibi work was too small, so the lines seem really thick, and I don't really like doing that, especially on this specific watercolor paper. This watercolor paper, like, its texture is rough enough for like, it's great for washes and like to get even layers when you're doing kind of flat coloring and stuff, or like if you're building up color. But when I'm doing like fine line work, it kind of grabs at the hairs of the the brush, and it kind of makes the line less stable. So like when I'm doing a very small piece, it's like very prominent that it's not as thin or it's shaky, but when it's on a larger one like this one, it's harder to see, and I kind of prefer that when I'm doing the outlines in watercolor with a brush. Another thing I was playing around with when I was doing this one of Minghao, or The8, I actually tried to put a little bit other colors in his hair, but I guess it didn't really show up. I had a little bit of blue in the back of his head, and a little bit more of like purple-ish pink in the side where it's closest to his hand, and where it meets the skin, because that's something I like to do digitally as well, is like I like to make sure there's almost like the skin's coming through the hair, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a stylistic choice, but I always like it because it makes things look a bit softer. So that's just totally preference. I think the fact that I was using the most recent photos of Minghao, I believe, at the airport, I think that's what it was. He's wearing like that white outfit with black pants or whatever. He had the glasses, and his hair is styled like how he usually styles it, except for it's like a little bit shorter. But I think it's good for me to render white clothing because you can definitely add a lot of like pinks and purples and blues into it, and it still looks like a white shirt. I think it's more fun to play around with colors when you're doing watercolor, especially on this paper, because the watercolor or like my washes that I put down don't dry as fast, and it allows me to easily let colors bleed into each other. So doing a lot of like pinks, blending in my blues, or like overlaying purples on top, because it takes layering quite well, which is great. So I'm just finishing up the line work, and I'm going to be going into doing highlights. So one thing I figured out is that I wanted to fix from like before, if you watch like previous videos where I do more like these headshot kind of things, it's like the nose always bothered me. I always loved this is gonna sound like low-key gross or something, like a bulbous nose. Does that make sense? Like it's like rosy and it's like shiny. It's like a bulbous nose. I'm just gonna call it that. I always like that look, but I was like never able to achieve it with watercolors. They always seem like A, too flat, and B, too like, maybe it's just flat, two-dimensional. I think it's like always the placement where I put the shadow on the opposite side of where they're facing, or on the same side where they're facing, and then where I'm placing the highlight for the bridge of the nose is always different. I don't know, it's not great, but I think I found a way how I wanted to work with it. But I hope you guys do enjoy this kind of a video, and don't mind that maybe in a few other videos I am also working in this kind of headshot, waist up kind of portrait, I guess. Obviously it's probably gonna be 17 related, that's just how I am. A carrot drawing everything of 17. But I hope you guys do enjoy this little, I guess, anime styled portrait of Minghao. I definitely had a lot of fun drawing him like this. He's kind of one of the members that are like, if I'm having art blockish mood, I will draw him. But yeah, I'll try to draw the other members. I have Wonu planned, I think, and Junghan as well. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys next week, and thank you very much for watching. Bye!